everybody, and welcome back to Ernay for the final race at the 76th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. My name's Paul Malin. Alongside me, Jason Thomas. We're in the northwest of France, and things are shaping up for the French team to walk this 76th edition quite comfortably. They head into the final race on 12 points. Australia is second on 33, Italy 42, Germany 45, USA 47. Of course, there are a whole load of other teams in there as well, but that's with all four scores counted from the first two races. As soon as we get going and we get a lap under the books, we'll know exactly how things are starting to shape up, because the final race determines the outcome of this Motocross of Nations. Always has, always will. But France could walk away with the perfect score if they come away with the 1-2. Jason Thomas, we are here at Ernay, the final race of the day. The crowd, 102,000 or thereabouts over the course of the weekend, not just today, of course, but the track at its worst now, its most rugged. It's going to be an interesting finale.
Yeah, the home crowd has gotten exactly what they came for. France has dominated thus far going into race 3. As you mentioned, the track has really deteriorated. There's going to be shadows, as you can see, coming over some of the berms. It's going to be really tricky. They're putting some water down for sure, but I think the water almost makes it worse at this point of the day, more slippery, because we're down to the base in many sections.
Romain Febvre victorious in race 1 from Jorge Prado, Ken Roczen, Jeremy Seewer, Aaron Plessinger, Jet Lawrence and Tim Geiser. They were in the MXGP MX2 race, and they were the first riders home. The first 7 riders home. They're lining up against their open class riders. That was just a few moments ago. They, of course, the open class and MX2 class was Maxime Renault, Tom Vial, Liam Everts, Andrea Bonacorsi, Hunter Lawrence, Valentin Guillot, Ruben Fernandez, and Andrea Bonacorsi with Kai de Wolf and RJ Hampshire rounding out the top 10. But it'll be interesting to see how the gate drop kind of configures itself, because with France having the first pick, it's going to be very, very crucial. Here was race 1. This was Prado getting the foxhole shot. Jet Lawrence in about 4th position there, number 7. Watch what happens to him a couple of corners later. Seewer jumped into 2nd, Febvre 3rd. Lawrence went to the outside. He got stood up and just crashed all by himself. He put in a heroic charge. Febvre got himself back into 2nd as he went around the outside of Jeremy Seewer, and it was Prado, Febvre, and then on lap 6, we saw a change for the lead, and that would last for 9 laps. Circuit conditions very different. Kenny up the inside of Seewer to move into 3rd. He would stall a few laps later, but he would carve his way back to 3rd before the flag was done. That was Kenny having to whip out the kickstart. Don't see that too often these days, but the Suzuki Saurus there obviously still providing a little bit of leverage with that right foot. Plessinger just got caught with a few laps to go by Roczen. That was 4 to go as he moved into 3rd. Seewer eventually got the better of him as well on the final lap. But it was Febvre winning race 1 from Prado, Roczen, Seewer and Plessinger. With Jet Lawrence, a fantastic pass on Tim Geiser in the final turn to pick off 6th place. In race 2, Valentin Guillot with the foxhole shot this time, but it was a little bit more straightforward. Ruben Fernandez tagged a rider there that caused a bit of a domino effect as riders went down. I'm not sure if RJ Hampshire was in there as well. He already got squeezed coming out of the gate by Fernandez, but it was Fernandez who led briefly once he got by Valentin Guillot. But all kinds of things going on behind. Renault was in 3rd initially. Everts doing his best to keep Tom Vial at bay and Andrea Adamo. Hunter Lawrence fell. He would eventually come back to finish in 5th place. Top of the hill, Vial going around Liam Everts. That put him into 3rd, or 2nd, sorry. And then that was pretty much all they wrote, because Maxime Renault got the better of Fernandez. He would then fall from 2nd place. That was right, he crashed here. That handed the 2nd place then to Tom Vial, and it would finish a French 1-2. Both riders, Renault and Vial, crossing the line pretty much almost wheel to wheel. But Romain Febvre knows he needs a good start. Australia, they've got a 10 and a 12 at the moment. They can throw away that 12, but even still, you know, still leaves them 21-ish points before we even go into this last race. So that will all change as the gate drops. Jet Lawrence, unfortunate in the first race. What can we expect? I'm guessing he's fired up.
Yeah, he wants to win. He mentioned it there. Of course, he wants the team to be successful, but I think he has a point to prove that he can be the best rider. Not sure what we have going on, but Something seems to know. The cameras, yeah.
Something
trying to get us the best shot.
Yeah, I don't know what's... Anyway, trying to get things under starters' orders here. The Fly Racing 15-second board up for the final time this weekend. 76 Monster Energy FIM Motocross Nations about to come to a conclusion. The big race of the day, the MXGP and Open Class, everybody on big bikes. Where is the jump going to come from?
I'll take the 16.
16 and 7 right in there, and Kenny's in there as well, and it's Ken Roxon with the Foxhole Shot. 3 different Foxhole Shot riders, 3 different winners of that this time around, and it's Kenny who's aggressive on the inside of Maxime Renault.
Kenny, one of the best sprinters. You see Jet Lawrence finally getting a start. It's really his best start of the weekend, but Kenny is so dangerous on these opening laps. He has that quick twitch muscle that we always talk about in the States that makes him so dangerous early in these races, and you know, it's always a question of how big of a lead can Kenny pull early, because that's when he really gets dangerous if he pulls away, and Jet knows that. He's going to try to hold him at bay, but I don't think Renault wants any part of that either. So
Romain Febvre down in 14th position at the first split, so they put all the eggs in Renault's basket as possibly the better starter of the two, but it's Lawrence already up into 2nd position, and he means business here. He wanted that good start. That's exactly what he's got. Lawrence on the move early.
Yeah, Jet's trying to be aggressive because he wants to get by Renault, but you can also see him being really hesitant with the water down.
Febvre there in about 10th place, so pick enough positions early on. We just saw him on that Kawasaki, but look how rugged the track is. This is where Ruben Fernandez fell in race 1. Prado there in 4th at the moment, but it's Roxon who leads for Germany. Lawrence 2nd, Renault 3rd for France. 4th is Prado, Geiser 5th, Ferrato 6th. Then we got Fernandez, Siwa, Febvre.
You see they've done some track work here. They've smoothed out that downhill, which I'm sure there's a godsend to these riders. But this is where Jet's really dangerous. If he gets by Kenny early and can set sail, this is what he's been comfortable with. This is how he won 22 motos in a row this Pro Motocross Championship season. Yeah,
it's not been beat often this year, but qualifying race yesterday, race 1 today. He will want to leave here with at least a race win, as he said, trying to get an Aussie up there, and he's going for the race win. He said that himself in the pre-race interview.
Well, and I think some of these conditions, you saw they fixed that section leading up to pit lane. This is much more what the American Series is like. There are still sections that are really treacherous, as you see here, but they've even done track work through this section too. So I think the conditions are a little bit more conducive to the American riders, or at least the riders that ride that series anyway.
Put the flag out now. France on 15, Australia on 35. That is the kind of margin that we're playing with at the top of the table. But of course, 27, 28 minutes plus 2 to go. And Kenny making a break for it here. But we saw that earlier on in the year when he rode one of the wildcard rounds. He looked like he had the distance, but at the same time, Jet reeled him in and played around with him and took the win just like it was a stroll in the park. Take a look at the replay of the start. This is Romain Febvre, not getting the best jump, but I don't think he was well positioned either. I think they had yeah, because look, where is he? Over here, yeah, on the right side. Ken Roxon with the Foxhole Shot up the inside of Prado. Jet, Maxime Renault and Dean Ferris right there, and so too Tim Geiser. Ferris in 12th place at the moment, the wingman to Lawrence, Jet Lawrence, that is.
Kenny looks really good here. I thought Jet was going to start to apply some pressure, but he made a couple of mistakes there and allowed Kenny to ride a little bit looser. Like Kenny looked like he was starting to ride more defensively.
I like what he did there at the top of the hill. He doubled and then jumped over the holes there. That was nice.
Yeah, and you just see the world class, and that's just pure talent. Yeah. The innovation to be able to do that, or at least see it, right? To see the opportunity there is not common.
What do you think the difference is, Kenny 2023 at this Motocross Nations to the Kenny that we saw at Red Bull in 2018? Because to me, he didn't look like he really had the fight that weekend a few years ago. Didn't really want to be there, maybe. Conditions didn't help either, a little bit wet. But here, on conditions that, yes, he's grown up with these kind of conditions, but at the same time, I was thinking maybe, you know, he would find it more of a challenge having not raced these conditions, having been in America for the last 10 years or whatever.
I think a lot of it's motivation. I think he wants to be here. There's no real pressure anymore in the city, you know, and I think he wants to prove to a lot of these guys that he's not a has-been. He's not a rider that's on his way out. He can still win these races, and he showed that all of September back in the USA.
HRC teammates during the season, but Spain versus Slovenia. Fernandez under attack from his teammate, race teammate, of course, Tim Geiser. Those two fighting over 5th place at the moment. Siwa in 7th, Ferrato 8, Febvre 9, not really advancing. And then we've got Verlanen in 10th there, Ferris, Kulas, Plessinger in 13th place. Where's Christian Craig? He's in 23rd place. So the USA at the moment 7th overall in the classification. It could still change though between those teams down there, but France, Australia, Spain and Germany just off the podium, 6 shy of Spain, who are eyeing up their first ever podium. And of course that would make them the 15th nation to win, to finish on the podium as well in the history of this event. But still a long way to go. Prado in 4th.
Yeah, and this could get really interesting because you see Spain has shot up the leaderboard now into 3rd provisionally. If Prado can continue to move forward, and if Fernandez can move up there as well, they have a really strong score here. It's really important for Jet to try to find a win this race, and Dean Ferris sitting in 11th to maintain. He's had a rough weekend, crashes, but you're going to need positive scores. Maybe they could drop one of Ferris's, but it's going to get really interesting, the math here, and we know Jet, that's not really Jet's strength, so hopefully someone down there is with a calculator. Yeah,
Ferris's crash was a pretty big one as well, wasn't it? Coming out of turn 3, sorry. And into the rhythm section before the uphill quad. Bike went one way, the next just pinged him out the side door. Fevre trying to go after the 10 of Albi Ferrato of Italy in blue. Cuts to the inside. This is when he gets frustrated, but he's going to find his way down the inside of the Italian, and he does. He sneaks a position, moves into 8th, does Romain Fevre.
Yeah, I wonder what the conversation was for, and look at Ferrato fighting back there. The conversation between Team France about starting position, right? Fevre was so good, but clearly they gave the inside gate to Renault for a certain reason. Just wonder what that was.
Yeah, Fevre bouncing right back. Right, this is Fernandez and Geiser. And Geiser looking to find his way past as well, and does so as he moves up into 5th place. Interesting corner, isn't it? That sort of onto the start straight and through that first turn. You can make or lose so much time. Also, riders do sweep very, very wide, and it just leaves the door open.
Yeah, and they're trying to find traction, right? You can see them leaning inside, leaning outside, trying to get all of that acceleration, the power to the ground so they can drive forward.
Good ride this from Ferrato. Didn't finish on a podium in MXGP this year, but he did win a qualifying race at Maggiora at home. Got a 4th and a 5th overall towards the latter stage as well. So he is a top 5 contender now, and considered a top 5 contender in MXGP. But Kenny Roczen really taking the challenge to Jet Lawrence in the early stages of this race. We've still got 23 minutes plus 2 laps to go, thereabouts.
If you watch Kenny, he is so smooth in his corners right now, just making one motion. There's no hitch, there's no hesitation. He's just carrying forward momentum all the way through the corner.
Fastest lap, though, to Jet Lawrence, 1:49.5 compared to the 50.2. And Fernandez throws it down the hill, and that might be a podium for Germany, possibly. All he had to do was bring it home, but he goes down hard, does the number 18 out of the final turn. Just asking too much, possibly. Watch this here, hits that bank, unseated, unceremoniously dumped to the ground, lays it down. He got off lightly there as well, but that's still going to hurt. Look at the rocks that he's rolling on.
And you wonder if he could even see the bank. He was in the shadow there, and you know, he accelerated, and his body language didn't look like he was expecting that kickback the other way. And that's some of these shadows are going to give unexpected results.
Out of 6th position. And now all the pressure on Jorge Prado, because Team Spain, you keep an eye on that. I'm just going to look up to the scoreboard here. They're at a 24th and a 22. 24 is the result they want to throw down, but it's not going to be easy. Here's Christian Craig. Same as Hunter Lawrence did in MX2 in the 2nd race.
Yeah, I see that front wheel just wanting to climb up the bank there.
Leaves him down there in 22nd place. Nicely done around the outside of Calvin Verlanderen. Romain Fevre now making inroads. He's up into 8th place.
And Fevre's got to be frustrated here, not able to get around Ferrato, but the end result is set. It seems like they're going to be your champion at this point, but I'm sure Fevre had much better results desired. Look at Ferrato getting aggressive.
Very aggressive right there. Fevre wouldn't have liked that.
Nope.
That's the kind of thing that gets his goat. Winds him up, frustrates him, takes his eye off the ball then, you know, just pushes too hard. He'll commit to the outside, he'll wait for Ferrato to commit. That's exactly what he does, but that outside-inside combination, it's been a tricky one, hasn't it, that particular 2-corner combination. We've seen riders, as you say, check up on the exit because too close to call.
Yeah, you wonder how Febvre handles this, right? Because he probably wants to get really aggressive with Ferrado here, but that's not the goal. The goal is to win this Motocross of Nations for France, and that Albi Ferrado is not a factor in that. So you can see, though, he's so aggressive and really pushing here. Maybe he just rides around him and rides off into the sunset, but everything in him is telling him to make contact right here, though.
Yeah. If it was a GP, he probably would be right now. And Ferrato looking over just to be a pain in the thorn in the side of Romain Febvre, who goes a long way around again, chasing traction through that turn. Looks like they've polished that up a little bit as well. He was breaking away there, wasn't he?
Yep.
Mid-turn.
Yeah, and some of his technique is suffering from anger. You can just see the anger in his riding now. RPMs are higher.
Lawrence still going through in that second place, but just not picking up his times. And there is a backup system anyway, as they hit the line and all the intermediate sectors. So he is legit there in second place. In fact, more than that, he's all over the back of Ken Roxon. Nothing in it between them as they hit the line this time around, but we're not getting the break between the two of them because obviously he's not recording any times here, Jet Lawrence. But you don't need to tell us that that's a half a second deficit or whatever, 6/10 it is in the end. Good ride this from Kickstart Kenny.
Yeah, a bit surprising to see. You wonder if Renault's laid up a little bit, as you know, they have their Motocross of Nations win in hand, but they've been able to pull away from Renault, which I wasn't sure that they were going to be able to do.
Right, the individual class up for grabs here as well. Febvre kind of out of it at the moment because a 1 and an 8 is going to cost him the victory. Prado 2 and 4 is going to give him 6 points. Roxon 3-1-4 is going to be the class winner in MXGP. He already has 4 MX2 class wins, 2010, 11, 12 and 13 in a row.
Yeah, that's a huge statement for Kenny. He is, he's been a front runner around the world for so long. And I think a lot of people have counted him out. I mean, even if he doesn't win this particular moto, if he could walk away here with your MXGP win, that's a huge statement.
Yeah, just messed up on the exit there. Kenny Roxon didn't get the combination right. Jet Lawrence just sailed by him and already now just trying to set sail into the distance. Kenny could still win the MXGP category though. If he stays where he is, potentially that'd put him on 5. But great riding that from Jet Lawrence. Chose not to follow. Trusted his instincts to go round the outside, double, single, or whatever the combination was. Whereas Kenny up the inside just lost traction, had to go single, and couldn't then rebound quickly enough to prevent the pass.
So we'll see how this plays out. But in the last few races, both in Chicago and LA, Kenny was able to follow Jet, find the pace, find some different lines, and match pace. Now, I don't know if he's going to be willing to take the risk on the track and the way this set is set up, but it'll be something to watch.
Febvre has finally found his way past Alberto Ferrato and moves into 7th position, bottom of the valley. But Jet Lawrence now with clear track and about a 1.8 second advantage already over Ken Roxon. This is what the neutrals wanted to see as well, I guess. Jet Lawrence putting in this kind of performance, which the first race, let's say, was absolutely sensational. Off the deck to get through to 6, final lap pass, final turn pass on Tim Geiser. That was probably overshadowed by the fact that we had probably one of the best races of the year, probably the best race of the year with Prado and Febvre, you know, for Febvre to take that race win. But Jet Lawrence showing us why he is the phenom that he is.
Yeah, watch for Kenny here to try to regroup. This is something he's talked about in interviews, that Jet applies a lot of pressure, but once he sat back and realized where Jet was going a little bit quicker, he could match pace. And you see him lurking back there.
Yeah.
Want to see if he tries to employ that same strategy, because it's worked for him. Once he found out where he was a little bit slower, what Jet was doing to close the gap down, you know, Kenny has so much talent that he's able to figure that out and apply it and then close the gap back down. Keeping
an eye on Italy's progress in this race, of course, because Alberto Ferrato, he's in 8th, Bonacorsi in 12th. Italy on the podium, but they've only got a 3-point advantage over Germany, 44 and 47. Spain, with that fall from Ruben Fernandez, that has taken them off the podium down to 6th place. And Ruben Fernandez, frustrated at that, he's down in 23rd now, so that's the score that they want to drop, or need to drop, I guess. Or the 24th from Oriol Olivier. So you can't afford to have those high scores like that, Jason.
Yeah, it's this race is so unique. Even with the drop score, so many opportunities for disaster to strike. We wondered how that would work out. You wonder what it would look like if David Braceras was here, but it's really tough to win if you don't have, if your score you have to accept is in the 20s, it's really challenging.
Maxime Renault, here he is in third. He's just back-to-back raced, of course. He won the open class race 45 minutes before the start of this one. And he's well placed again in third, the lead French rider, and he's going to be the open class winner this weekend. MXGP class winner last year at Redbird, open class winner this year, it looks like. Cody Cooper just to the outside there for New Zealand. He is in 31st place, but New Zealand looking at 14th overall this year. Qualified straight to the main on Saturday through the qualifying races. No B final for them this year, much to their relief.
Yeah, I think they qualified 14th as well, so 14th kind of weekend for them.
But Renault has surprised me this weekend, bouncing back from that crash and didn't race the Grand Prix at Matterley Base in the final round in Great Britain 2 weekends ago to get himself ready for this one, but he's come in, said he's feeling good. Oh, he's not kidding. He's put on a performance and a half for the home fans this weekend.
Yeah, I love his line selection there. You know, he's staying out of the bumps, riding the berm, coming off the berm, then going inside of all the bumps. He's just kind of putting the track together. And when the track's this broken down and this deteriorated, you can't just attack it. You have to have a plan. And you can just see him relying on the berms there, going where the traction is, using all the sections of the track all the way to the outside and go all the way outside again.
This is the performance that we've been expecting from him all year, really. He got a win earlier on in the year in Switzerland. He followed that up with a win in Trentino, followed that up with a second in Switzerland. And he's really, you know, since that foot injury in Spain, really been chasing things a little bit. But good to see him back here, doing what he's doing.
Yeah, Prado's closing the gap. You see him right there in the bottom of the screen. So we'll see how Renault handles that. There's certainly no pressure points-wise for him to do anything here, but I would bet on a personal level he'd like to be the reigning world champion.
Yeah, also boost his confidence ahead of next year, but Prado just lurking there. Look, a couple seconds further back, but doesn't look like that from that angle. 23.2, 22.7. Prado just starting to reel him in Sector 1. Sector 2 coming to an end any moment now through this sweeping turn as they hit the first jump. So Renault 32.3, 31.9, and all of a sudden Prado is there ready to pounce, and the gap is starting to diminish. Got to go the wrong side of the back marker.
Yeah, and Prado won't know that Ruben Fernandez crashed, right? So he won't necessarily know what the point situation is. So he thinks he's fighting for a podium at the moment, and things have kind of come unraveled behind him.
Just depends whether the team have given him that information. Well, he will now, though, because there's his teammate right there.
And that's going to be a heartbreaker moment for Prado, because he knew the situation going in. Both of them needed to have top 5 scores for them to move up, and yeah, he knows all is lost now.
Give you a quick rundown then, Lawrence. Australia leads Ken Roczen by more than 2 seconds. They've just completed their 10th lap, 3.3 as they go through this time around. Renault is here in third for France. France having a phenomenal Motocross of Nations here this weekend. But Jet Lawrence now extending his lead, 5.2 seconds clear. And as it stands right now, France, Australia, Italy is going to be the final podium. France eyeing up their 24th podium, their 7th victory in this event. Second Italian on track is Andrea Bonacorsi. He's in 11th place. His teammate here, Alberto Ferrato, still there in 8th, and he's about 3.5 seconds behind Febvre, 5.6 seconds clear of Van Landrum. So barring any shenanigans, he's going to be okay. Stepping up, here is Bonacorsi, the 2023 European 250 champion. 2 European titles now, 125 a couple of years ago, 250 this year. He moves into MX2 for 2024, but he's riding a 450 for the first time in this event. It's been pretty pretty decent for him. He's still very young. He's only, what, 18, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's been an impressive weekend all around. Nobody really had any expectations. He has no experience on the 450 on this stage, and he's been really solid.
Number 10 here just made a small mistake in that top right-hander when he was dealing with the back marker, but also his teammate Bonacorsi making a mistake, and they're the kind of things they need to minimize.
Well, jinxed them a little bit there, but you know, I think that's where being such a large human being right there helps him, right? He was able to control the bike, bring it back in. That could have been very, very ugly coming down that hill.
Prato chasing dirt and trying to change things up through that downhill left. Fevra about 3.5, 4 seconds further up the field. He's about 12 seconds behind Siwa. Siwa has Geiser 2 seconds further up the track. So very spread out in this open MXGP category. Thought it would be a lot closer than it is.
Yeah, I think everybody's a little bit wary of the track conditions. Really tricky. Shadows.
Sun is low, yeah, every time they come down those hills.
They want to battle, but the track sometimes just won't allow it.
Here's Geiser. Here's Kenny Roxon, the 22, on the Suzuki.
I think they just put Christian Craig a lap down there.
Yeah. So Kenny Roxon second. What is it? 6.3 seconds behind. But he is on course, I'm sure, for the class win in the MXGP category. Jet Lawrence, 6 in race 1. A win in race 2 would give him 7 points. Kenny, 3-2. That's 5 points. So that's how it looks at the moment. But just attacking that hillside. Jet Lawrence. Just listen to the throttle control there. Just barely attacking. Just feathering it. Just really nice. And those ruts deeper than you think they are on TV as well. This is around the outside. Watch Roxon here. He just makes a mistake. Look, couldn't get the drive. He will double his way through, but already 2-2-1. That was the difference. That was Lawrence taking the lead a few laps ago. Come here with a lot of interest around him. Of course, what he's done in America this year. 1 indoors, 1 outdoors, 1 SMX playoffs. It's been a phenomenal season for him.
Well, and you know, he's so far ahead of the game as he's moved to America. If he'd stayed in Europe, he'd likely be still in MX2 at the moment. But his skill set just screams success. I mean, he's won everything he's touched so far. He truly is a phenom. And you want to talk about a bright future. I don't know that there has been a brighter future than Jet Lawrence has.
Renault still being pushed by the 16 of Jorge Prado. These two fighting over third. Looks pretty good for Renault at the moment. Doesn't feel like it doesn't look like he's feeling the pressure from the Spaniard and the newly crowned MXGP world champion. 3 world titles now for Prado. But that's an impressive tally anyway. 2 world titles is good, but to be a 3-time world champion at 2 different levels as well is a testament to his own talents as well. Been a good year for him.
And he really hasn't had time to enjoy it yet.
You know, yeah.
1 weekend off after Matterley and right back to it for Motocross of the Nations. You really can't take time off. You can't enjoy it. It likely hasn't even sunk in yet, but it surely will after this weekend.
As the riders head down past pit lane onto the start straight, that right-hander onto the start straight, you see the fencing already starting to be erected as well, because it's protocol to keep the fans at bay anyway, even at a Grand Prix, but they'll need a little bit more security, I think, down there, because it will go off the scale. Fans will break onto the track as soon as the checkered flag is gone, and Team France really on 14. They're 20 points clear of Australia with 2.5 minutes plus 2 to go. It has been an incredible weekend. There are big screens around the track they can see there, so they'll be able to enjoy it from the bank if they can't make it to the podium itself. But the national anthem, the flares, the flags, we know what it's like, Jason. You saw it and experienced it in America last year, Redbud, when Team USA won, how they wanted to break the barriers and go join the podium, because that was the first in a generation for some of those people to experience an American win on home soil. The French are exactly going to get the same treatment this time around. Yeah,
and I'll tell you, the best part of the French winning for me will be as I'm exiting and trying to get out of traffic, the French will want to still be here. They won't be trying to leave as well. It's going to make my exit much smoother.
Do you want to go now?
No, but seriously, the French deserve this win. They've been the best team all weekend long. We talked about them having what looked like the best team on paper coming in, but you have to execute on Sunday. No trophies are handed out because you have the best team on paper. You have to come and win, and they've done everything you could ask for, right? Romain Febvre, not his best moto this time, but guess what? In race 1, when it was all on the line, he went out and won. He battled Jorge Prado and won.
He set the benchmark for Team France, didn't he?
He started the momentum.
Yeah, he did. He came out with the win and showed everybody and his teammates, look, we've got this. And guess what? Tom Vial and Maxime Renault followed up with a 1-2, the perfect score in race 2. And that was it, pretty much. The nail was in the coffin. It just needed a couple of hits here and there, and that's exactly what they've done from lap 1 today in this final race.
I think for Febvre, I don't think that ride yesterday sat very well with him, and I think he wanted to correct that, and he certainly did that in race 1.
Jorge Prado in 4th. Cross-rutted, back markers getting in the way there.
Shades of Christian Craig yesterday in that section.
Yeah.
You get leaning the wrong way, it's not the easiest climb anyway. You probably can't see the rut that well.
And the shadows are coming towards you at that point as well, so you are slightly visually impaired in that respect. But what fantastic weather we've had here, like mid to late 20s, October the 8th. Unusual for this part of the world and this time of year. Okay, 15, 20 is fine, but 28.
Yeah, and you wonder if that had any effect on the track conditions, right? Just warmer weather than usual, no rain really in the forecast all week, and just harder, more slippery track conditions than I think everybody expected.
Yeah, nature has played its own hand in terms of a favorable circuit for the French. These hard, slick conditions, but everybody else, the Siwas and the Ferratos, they're used to riding these conditions as well. Just the French have done it very, very well and a lot better than everybody else, but they've got good starts and they've been solid and consistent, and they've not let that crowd over there on their left affect, their performance. They've not allowed it to sort of break the, through the walls and think, right, we're here to mess with you. Pressure, 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 They've just taken that and reflected it straight back.
Well, pressure can affect you in one of two ways. It can make you focus and bring your best performance, or you can crumble and it can really affect your mental state. And you see the French, they've handled it well all weekend. They've looked focused, they've gotten good starts, they've ridden well. And yeah, say what you want about the track conditions. They've been the best team all weekend, period.
Prado just starting to reel back in Maxime Renault. And he's still a couple of seconds adrift, but he's not... oh, who's that? Yeah, 40, the rider from Finland. Vera Sivonen, just looking at it thinking, why did I even bother?
Yeah, should I even pick this up?
Anyway, Prado trying to show Renault a wheel. 3 laps to go, Lawrence already over the line. 16 laps complete, Roxon also now. 9.7 seconds behind the Australian.
For most of these riders, this will be the last 3 laps of their 2023 season. They'll go into the off season, maybe some testing, but until the springtime, we won't really see them race again.
And that's something that stays with them as well. A good Motocross of Nations, a class win, the overall victory, a nice high to go into the winter break on. And even if they're on a podium, even, Australia, yeah, they had a good chance, but I'm not sure how 100% Hunter Lawrence was. Dean Ferris, the MX1 champion in Australia. He's had his best Motocross of Nations in Germany 2013. But since then, the results for the team, and when he's been involved in those ones, not just down to him, but, those results have slipped a little bit here. But maybe on paper, between the 2 Lawrences and him, yeah, the strongest from Australia, but the weakest link out of the 3, probably.
And you think about Prado here, such a fantastic 2023. How much is he willing to risk here? Does he really want to take a chance and try to pass? I would say he will if the door opens, but again, you know, the leaning towards the last laps of 2023.
It's going to give him one more point. That doesn't even beat Switzerland, right. So 7th is where they are, even if he passes Murano. So, but he's a racer, he's a world champion. Especially wants to pass him just for that, that bragging rights.
Yeah, and seeing Fernandez had to really change the outlook of this race for him. He knew that there was really no chance for a strong score when your MX Open guys a lap down. You see Plessinger going a lap down here too. And this is what I really worried about with Team USA. These track conditions are nothing that they would have ever seen before. But even Jet spent time in Europe. He raced the MX class growing up, so he has more experience than even a rider like Aaron Plessinger, who's a veteran on track conditions like this.
Never raced here though. Hunter did. Missed the podium, finished 4th in 2017, but into the final lap. Jet Lawrence, 9 seconds clear of Roxon. Renault and Prado still fighting over 3rd place. It will not change the outcome for the winners. It will not change the outcome for Spain, even if these two switch positions. But Renault would love to finish this race in 3rd. He's being urged on by the fans. They know they are about to be crowned world champions in the next 3/4 of a lap. They are on their feet. They are wide open out there on the bank. And Renault is just feeding off of that energy, has done all weekend long. Will he care that Prado passes him on the last lap? Probably not, but he won't want it to happen because that will just leave a sour taste in the mouth.
Yeah,
final lap, really, you know.
Right. Realistically, if you were just looking at is it worth it, you just wave him by. It doesn't change anything, but that's not who these guys are. That's not how they became, that's not how he became an MX2 world champion. It's not how Jorge Prado became a multi-time world champion.
Oh, mistake there from Prado. Front end just got away. I just wonder whether he caught a rock there or at the back end, because it certainly caught him off balance.
Yeah. And the mental side of this is interesting because Renault's going to be like, I can beat Prado. I just did it going into 2024. And Prado understands that Renault is on the rise. He's a rider that just moved up. He's found a lot of success early. He's not going to want to give him any confidence either going into next season.
Jet Lawrence, couple corners to go. Takes a long look over his shoulder. The Australian bounces back with a win in the final race. It's going to be good enough to put Australia on the podium, 2nd overall, their best ever finish in this event. Jet Lawrence wins race 3. Ken Roxon will cross the line 2nd. Renault hangs on to 3rd. France are world champions once again. The 2nd time they do this on home soil. 2015 they were victorious here. They repeat again in 2023. Maxime Renault, Tom Vial, Romain Fevre, world champions here in France. And listen to the reaction from the fans. Nothing else than a win would have done, and they got exactly what they came here to see.
Yeah, they'll be partying long into the night, and rightfully so. This is what it's all about. This is why they came in, to see their team dominate. Honestly, I think they deserve it. The team deserves it, and yeah, kudos to everybody involved.
A long last lap for Romain Fevre. He will cross the line in 7th. He will know by now that France have won the Motocross of Nations once again. No celebrations for him just there at the moment for Romain Fevre, but Fevre, 4 wins now, 2015, 16, 17, and 23. Maxime Renault, a class winner last year, 2nd overall in America in 2022. Tough race for Romain Fevre. But that man right there, and Tom Vial and Romain Fevre all played their part this weekend. It is about to kick off, if it hasn't already. Celebrations now between the two teammates. Let the party begin. Look at the fans. They're not going to be able to get to where they need to be for the post-race interviews in a hurry. But we will talk to the top 3, or the winning team at least, in a few moments' time. Great ride from Jet Lawrence. Finally came good in the final race. Just had his bad luck throughout the course of the weekend, Jason.
Yeah, I think he proved a point, but I was very interested to see Fevre there. You could tell even though they're winning, great performance all weekend, he's unhappy with that ride. Not a lot of celebrating. You could tell by the look on his face he's a little let down by his own performance. But yeah, he'll shake that off. They have nothing to be ashamed of and everything to be proud of. That was an incredible performance over the course of a weekend. It wasn't just one day, it wasn't just one race, it was all weekend long.
Team Italy, third overall. Andrea Bonacorsi, Andrea Adamo, Albi Ferrato finally gets himself on the podium in this event. They are the three riders there. 16th overall in his first appearance for Albi Ferrato. That was in Assen 2019 when it was a young team. Fourth last year, Red Bull for Andrea Adamo. First appearance for Andrea Bonacorsi. He comes away with third overall. The Aussies, their best ever finish in the event. Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Dean Ferris finally gets himself a medal on his sixth appearance. Just missed out in Germany, fourth overall, when he was second in the MX2 category that day, Ferris. Team France, Maxime Renault, Romain Fevre, Tom Vial. Listen to the roar, a proud dad there, Fred Vial. But Fevre, Vial, Renault, victorious on home soil. Do you really need any words? Really? Marvin Musquin, a French winner. He was victorious here in 2015. Gauthier Paulin, a five-time winner, the first as a team manager, joins his star trio on the top step of the podium. Philippe Lecomte, the MC Erne president, handing the third place trophy to Team Italy. Andrea Adamo, Andrea Bonacorsi, Albi Ferrato, team manager Thomas Traversini. Pandemonium down there. George Vegas, the FIM president. That's the official third place trophy to Team Italy. The Coupe des Nations. The brainchild of Peter Chamberlain, this event. All those years ago. The second place commemorative trophy there for Team Australia. Sébastien Poirier, the FFM president, delivers that second place trophy to Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Dean Ferris, and the team manager Michael Byrne. They will get their official second place trophy in a few moments' time. The biggest ever crowd. That's the second place trophy. Again, George Vegas, the FIM president, delivering the second place trophy to Team Australia. David Longo, in front motor racing CEO. The winner's commemorative trophy to Team France. But the trophy that they are all here to win, the Peter Chamberlain Trophy. Delivered to Team France. Romain Fevre, Maxime Renault, Tom Vial, and team manager Gauthier Paulin. France victorious and world champions for the 7th time.